images, and download any of the images that looks realistic to you or clear enough for you to use in your animation. So let's say let me save this. Let me save this. Let me save this to my desktop. So I've saved it to my desktop. Now so I want to bring it to my Anime Studio Pro. Maybe I'll go to import image, my desktop. Sorry, it should be my desktop. Should be my desktop. So I have it here. So I brought it to my Anime Studio Pro Moho. So I want to expand it because as you can see, this part here, if I should preview it, my camera will not capture this. This is outside the camera. So I want to have the entire background inside my camera. I want the camera to capture the entire background. So I'll just expand this more than my camera. So this is a background. Let me preview it. So when I'm previewing it, this is how it's going to look when you are rendering it. Rendering means converting to a video later in the day. So I want to bring my characters into this background. The characters we did earlier, if you go to your character wizard, your presets is already in your preset. So I want to bring my boy to the background. This is it. So I'll export all views. So this is my boy in the background. So I want him to be at the far end of the street. I want him to be smaller than he looks now. So I want him to be at the far end of the street. So then he's going to be smaller. So let's say like I can zoom in to actually look at where I'm placing him. So let's say I want him to walk over from this end. So that is him there. I want him to walk over from this end to this end of the screen. That's from this end to this end of the screen. So I'm going to do a little bit of animation here now. I want to bring character and life into the character. Now the first thing I want to do is my frame here is at 0. So I told you in the first video that your end frame, you should make it as large as possible. So I'll just make it 5000. So I'll just my starting frame should always be, when you're animating, you always start at frame 1. That is, if you want to start animating from the beginning, you always start at frame 1. You cannot animate at frame 0. Understand? So now it's at frame 1. So whatever action I'm taking will be recorded under this my timeline. My timeline is used to set keyframes for whichever motion I'm exhibiting or imputing to the character within the scene. So now I want this character to walk down from this point to this point. So what I do is I go to this window here and click on actions. Once I click on actions, my actions panel will appear. These are the actions that this character was designed to be able to do. I told you earlier in the previous video, 4 basic characters: walk, move, and jump, and the rest. So I want this character to be able to I want this character to walk from that point to this other point in my animation. So so what I'm going to do now is to impute. So I'm trying to adjust something I did earlier. So I just want this character to walk from this point to this other point. So I'm placing it at frame 1. So I will click on walk. I'm selecting walk. So shit, I think there's something wrong with this somewhere. This action. Okay. So I think I'll take it back again. So I'll take this character back to that point where I placed him earlier. I'm going to zoom in to make sure I placed him properly. So it's at that point and I want him to walk to this point. So I'll go to my work, move this to frame 1, change this to 5,000 or 10,000, whichever number you want, just make it large enough. So I want him to work from this point. So as I select on work here, I'll click on this um, insert reference. So once I click on insert reference, that is it. Once I click on play, you notice that the character is walking. But there's a problem, is walking on a stagnant, it's on a single position. So if this character is walking, and I want him to walk to here, right? Stop. I want him to walk all the way down here, right? So I'll go to my timeline. At what point do I want him to get to this place? At what point? Is it after 9 seconds? Is it after 10 seconds? Is it after 11 or 20 or 12 seconds or wherever? How long do I want him to take from here to get to this place? Let's say I want him to take 15 seconds. So this is my second, 7, 8, 9, 10, 15 seconds here. I'll click here on my timeline. So I'll now come and drag this character from this point to this point. This is where I want him to be now at the end of the day. Here, right? Okay. And there's something you need to understand. If someone is walking from a distance as he's approaching, is getting larger, you understand? This is just common sense. So when he gets to this point, definitely he's going to be larger than he was when he started walking from that point. So I'm going to expand, increase the character. I'm going to increase the character because he's at the front of, he has gotten to the front of the camera already because he was walking from a distant place to the front. Now, so you see, as I'm making this change, the keyframes are being recorded here. So I'm going to now take my timeline, take it back to the beginning of my timeline and play it. Let me take this down a bit. So and play it. So you watch the character coming from the distance, walking, and as he's approaching, he's increasing in size till he gets to the front of the camera. 15 seconds. That's a 15-second mark. So as he got there, he's still walking, but nothing changes. You understand? So that is it. How to get a background to a character and then manipulate the character in the background. There are many things you could actually do with this character in this background. There are a lot of things. So another way to actually get a background is to use the backgrounds that Anime Studio by default has. So you go to import, go down to scenes, backgrounds. Let me see, I want let me which background should I pick? Let me pick living room. So I have the living room here in Anime Studio Pro. I've imported it, so I'll just close this. Now you will notice this living room is placed above the layer for the living room is placed above the layer for the boy. So we cannot see this boy right now. So I have to carry the boy above the living room. The layer for the boy above the living room. So that's how I'm able to see the boy now. Understand? So I'll just clear the animation we did previously so that I'll be able to re-edit the position where I want this boy to be now. So since he's now in the living room, I want him to maybe be standing in front of this chair. So I'm bringing him to the front of this chair. I'll expand him, I'll increase his size with reference to the size of the chair because I want him to be in the living room. So now that is it. So maybe I want him to be looking at the side. So I'll change the view to side. Yeah, he's now looking at the side and he's standing on the mat. So let's say I want him now to walk to this other end, from this end to this other end. So I'll change my time frame to 0. Then I'll go to my actions, just like we did earlier. Insert time reference. If I play it, he's now walking. He's walking, but he's still walking on the same position. So I want him to be able to walk from here to here after 6 seconds. So I'll come to 6, my time frame, timeline, click on 6, then move him to this point. So I'm moving to this point, so I'll leave him here. So I'll go back to my timeline and play it and watch. So after 6 seconds, he walks to the other end of the room and stopped. Let's say as he stopped here, I still want him to go back to this other point, right? Okay, this is what I'll do. I'll skip a time frame. I'm at frame 144. So I'll move to 145. Once I'm at 145, I'll click on this and come here and invert him. I'll flip him. So I flipped him to the other position. Note, if I go back to 144, he's facing here. If I go back to 145, he has turned. Why you are not supposed to do it at 144 is that if you do it at 144, it's going to affect every frame from 1. That's why at the next frame, it will not be noticeable because a single frame is about 0.0001 second. It will not be noticeable by the human eye. So that's why I had to go to frame 145 before inverting him. So now that I've inverted him, I want him to now walk back to this other position, to this other part of the room. So I'll now take, let's say I want him to take 10 seconds, the next 1, 2, 3, 4 seconds to get to that point. It's 4 enough. Let me just include the next 6 seconds again to get to that point. So I'm at frame 288. So at this point, I'll now drag him back again to this point. The position has been recorded in my time frame. So I'll go back to frame 0 and play everything all together. So he was walking. Once he gets to 140 for that 6 seconds, he stopped, turned, went back to the other end. Let's say he got to this other end. I still want him to turn. So this is at frame 128. Sorry, 288. I want him to now turn and face the camera from 280. So I have to take it to 289. Then come to this switch here and change it to front. So he's now watching the camera. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share the video. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.